Krishna. Should we do some Kirtan, Prabhu? Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. जय श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की, श्रील गुरुदेव की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। So Hare Krishna Prabhus, Hare Krishna Mataji's. It's very wonderful to be here. I've always wanted to visit, Prabhu's, Mataji's and Ayush, their place here. But somehow, we did not connect during those dates. And this program as well, I'm so pleased to actually be here to meet all of you. It's a Friday evening. You all must be so tired, right? Some of you I just met at the lift. And you all are coming from work. All of you are coming from work. So thank you so much for being here. So today we are going to look at a summary of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. How many of you have been here for the first 10 chapters? Okay, the host of course. Right? Almost everyone has been here for the first 10 chapters. That's very good. We are so privileged because if we are at home alone, we would not have time. Even though we have time, we will make sure that we don't have time to study the 18 chapters of the Gita. But because Nilkamal Prabhu is forcing us now, you at least come. You should sit down, and this 18 or 36 weeks, we go through this course. We actually get a very comprehensive view of what the 18 chapters of the Gita actually is or are. Right? It's very important. Because Gita, one thing is that you may say that the Bible belongs to the Catholics, the Quran belongs to the Muslims, but you cannot say that the Bhagavad Gita belongs to the Hindus. Because Bhagavad Gita was never spoken, it was never written for a certain sect or a certain religion. Bhagavad Gita is actually a universal book that whoever touches it will actually become enlivened. Because the principles are universal. Problems are universal. Our want for happiness is universal. And this is exactly what Bhagavad Gita deals with. When we say the sun rises in the east, it is not relevant only to the Hindus. It is relevant to everyone. So the Gita is like that. Every statement in the Gita, you can equate it to, or the relevance you can equate it to, the sun is rising in the east. That is how relevant each and every stanza, each and every word, and each and every syllable in Bhagavad Gita actually is. So in the 10th chapter, Krishna is speaking about his opulences, how great he is, right? How you can remember me, because it stems from the question of Arjuna, Krishna, how can I practically remember you? So he says that, what does he say? Taste of water, right? Very practical. What else does he say? Division of 10th chapter.
Smell of earth.
Yes, What else? Of all the fishes, I'm the shark. Right? So all these things he says, practical, everyday things that we see, Krishna was enabling Arjuna that if you see this, or the splendor of this material cosmic manifestation, you will be able to remember me. So what did Arjuna do? He heard. He asked question and he heard. He heard 10 chapters of lecture from Krishna. And then in the 11th chapter, of course, theirs is a conversation, it's not a chapter, but 10 chapters of verse simply hearing. And then he says, now you have said so many things. Now I want to see. So the 10th chapter is the opulence of the absolute. And the 11th chapter is the vision of the universal form, or what we call as the Viśvarūpa. This is a very important point because in Kali Yuga it is always ulta. I want to see first before I consider whether I will hear you. But if you really want to understand a subject matter very well, actually the science is we have to hear first. Spiritualists or devotees, they don't see through their eyes. They see through their ears. Very important. It is like going into medicine school, right? Med school, NUS, you have to study for 4 years. You cannot simply walk into the OT in SGH and say that I didn't hear my teachers for 4 years, but now I will become a houseman and I should start now operating on the patient. What will they think of us? At least in Singapore, they will think this person is crazy, and immediately not to NUS, they will bring them to IMH, right? Because they will think that how is it that you don't hear but you want to do and you want to see? So when it comes to practical things, we are very convinced that how can I do and how can I see if I don't hear? But when it comes to spiritual things, we don't accept it. No, I must see first. If I don't see, it does not exist. But everything else I will hear first. Then, I will consider whether I will see. So this science is established by Arjuna very naturally. He heard for 10 chapters and then he says that I want to now see you. So there is no mystical process to this. Spiritual life means, devotional life means, there is no mysticism to it. There are mystics. In our culture, there are mystics. Those who have perfected their lives. But actually being a mystic has no value. I'll give you this example, a story actually. There was once, there was a man who lived in a village, right? He was a common man, very ordinary, but he did not want to remain ordinary. So what he did was he left his village, he went to the Himalayas, and for 15 years he meditated. And people in the village forgot him. 15 years later he came back. And before he came back, right, at the boundary of the village, he told one of the boys, tell them, so and so is coming. 15 years they have not seen me. And now I'm coming as a Babaji, as a mystic, 15 years in Himalayas. Tell them that I'm going to show them the mystic power of a yogi. So the boy ran, very fascinated. So he told them that everyone should assemble, at the famous river in our village, and I will show them my mystic power. So that everyone gathered. They were so happy because he was family. Village means everyone's family. So he was family. So they all came to see him. But he looked very strange because he was a mystic. So then he got to the edge of the river, and then they all asked him, 15 years you were gone, right? We're so proud of you. What have you achieved? He said, now I'm going to show you. So then he started walking across the river. Water, on the water, right? He walked across to the other side and he came back. And the moment he came back, or as he was walking back, he was expecting them to glorify him like anything. Then the boatman came to him and stretching his head. He said, so are you going to show what is the mystic power that you had for the last 15 years? And he said, I just walked across the river. And he said that if you had given me 10 paisa, I would have taken you across the river and brought you back. You needed 15 years, wasting your life in some strange mountain to walk across the river and come back. What is the value of this mysticism? So Bhagavad Gita is not a mystical book. It is a book that demystifies mysticism. In this whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will tell Arjuna, just be practical, man. Right? No point going to the Himalayas, no point becoming a yogi, no point becoming a mystic. You just be who you are. You are a Kshatriya, you are a fighter, just continue fighting. But here he is asking, I want to see. So Arjuna is now telling Krishna that I want to see this Viśvarūpa. So the question is, why so strange? Why does Arjuna ask Krishna to see this universal form? So in Bhagavad Gita, the second part, the first part is hearing before we see. That is first part of 11th chapter. Second part, why does Arjuna ask? Because Arjuna, he is like our Guru. He is the start of the parampara. Right? After the sun god, when Krishna spoke the Gita to the sun god, you would have heard in the 4th chapter, right? Imam vivasvate yogam. Proktavan aham avyayam. Vivasvan manave praha manur ikshvakave abravit. So he says that I spoke to the sun god, I spoke to Manu, I spoke to Ikshvaku. Now because you are my friend, I am now revealing this knowledge to you. So what was broken? Now Arjuna is the Guru. He is the parampara. He is receiving. So Arjuna has a foresight. He says that in Kali Yuga, right, after you leave, there will come people who won't want to hear. They will want to see and they want proof. So what I'm going to do now, in his own mind, he's thinking that I want you to show me a form that now after this, whoever claims to be God, they must first show this form first. If they cannot show the universal form, they cannot be considered as God. This is for the layman. For devotees, those who are advanced in spiritual life, this universal form is non-consequential. We do not worship this. You go to any person's house, you will not see the universal form. Because spiritualists are not interested in the universal form. Because universal form is simply mystical and it's a grand splendor. But Arjuna was very scientific. He knew that there will be a lot of men who will come and say that I am God. They'll wear certain clothes, they'll wear certain cap, right? They'll produce something from their hands, from their mouth, so many things, and they'll claim to be God. And innocent people will claim that, yes, this is God. Someone produces a gold, they will think that he's God. But if you walk around Srangoon Road, there's so many gold shops. Do you fall at the person who's selling gold? You don't, right? Do you go to the miners who are extracting gold from the mines? We don't, right? So producing gold, even though it may be great, there is no use. There's no value. What is the outcome? So here he's saying that one who wants to be God or claims to be God must show the universal form, even though the devotees are not interested in it. So then Krishna says, this is the third part of chapter 11, right? He says that I will show you, but you cannot see with ordinary eyes. You have to have Divya Chakshu. Divya means transcendental. Chakshu means eyes. You need to have transcendental or divine eyes before you can actually see this. This is how God is seen. Lord Brahma says that Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. He says that devotees or spiritualists are able to see God. And you know what is this transcendental eye? It is the eye of devotion. It is the eye of love. You know, sometimes we see a child very loud, very naughty, very mischievous, right? And we may go to the child and may feel very irritated with the child. Try telling that to the mother. Your child is so irritating, I can't stand your child. How will the mother feel? Will she agree? Yeah, actually, I also know. No. The mother will say, this is nonsense. And then we'll wonder, what is it that the mother is seeing in the child that I cannot see? What is the vision of the mother? Love. Through that love, the mother is able to assimilate the potential of the child that the common man who comes once in a while is not able to see. Only the mother is able to do that. Sometimes even father is a bit difficult. They're a bit hard. Useless. I don't know what you see in them. Right? But mother is able to see. No matter what the husband says, the mother will say no. He or she will do well. This is exactly how we see God. Why is the mother glorified? Why do we say mother is closest to God? It is not a sentimental thing. It is true. It is science. Because everything the mother does is selfless. It is always with love. And that is why she is seen as almost equal to God. And this is the eyes through which we should see God. But most of the times living entities want to see God in a very challenging spirit. Right? Oh, who are you? Right? If let's say, you want to go and see Lee Hsien Loong, you want to go and see Lawrence Wong, right? Ex-Prime Minister, current Prime Minister. Would you just go in? Oh, who are you? I'll just walk in, right? You give me an appointment. We can't. Even we want to see our boss nowadays, right? You message them on Teams, they will reply you 2 days later. You need to take appointment to see them. That we will accept. But God is nothing, right? I mean, boss is greater, right? President is greater, Prime Minister is greater. God is very cheap. So we'll tell God, you are my order taker. Immediately, now I chant one round, tomorrow you have to appear before me. Right? We ask our boss a favor, he will take 1 week to do it. But God is lower. So we'll say, before I ask, you have to do. So, this expectation on God has become very casual. This Viśvarūpa that God is showing shows that how great God is. So this Divya Chakshu, that our ability to see God cannot be earned. Our endeavor must be there. But it is like going to see the Prime Minister. You can put your submission, but do you expect that just because the submission went in, the appointment must come? We cannot. So in the same way, to realize God, we have to submit to His will. This part of spirituality, 99% of spiritualists do not know. 99%, and that is where the fall happens. Because what we expect from our spouse, what we expect from our children, what we expect from our organization, our whole life is full of expectations. And that is why we are always disturbed. And with spiritual life also, we tend to move that expectation. But in spiritual life, we must be without expectation. It is a paradox. That is why it is the opposite of material life. If we want to be peaceful, we should not, or we should minimize our expectations. So with God, Arjuna did not have that. So now he had the transcendental vision. Was it earned? It was gifted. But how did the gift come? Because Arjuna was who to Krishna? Friend. Yes, Prabhu. He was a friend. He was very friendly. He didn't want to kill Krishna. Duryodhana could not see. Right? Karna could not see. Even Bhishma could not see. Of course, Bhishma is a different case. Drona could not see. Dushashan could not see. No one could see. Only Arjuna could see. But there was one more person who could see. Sanjaya. Yes, very nice, Prabhu. Excellent. How did Sanjaya see?
Because of his mercy of his Guru.
Mercy of his Guru. Yes. So was it taken or gifted?
Gifted.
That's the point. Anywhere when someone saw God, it was never taken. It was gifted to them. Either by God Himself or by Guru. So what did Arjuna see? Right? It was such a terrifying form. There was Lord Shiva, there was Lord Brahma, there was Lord Ganesh, there was everyone presented themselves in the form of the Viśvarūpa. All the fires in the world, all the oceans in the world, all the fishes in the world, all the living entities in the world were all represented in the Viśvarūpa. All the sense, all the smell, all the sight, right? Whatever we can hear, everything appeared in the Viśvarūpa. That was already very terrifying and interesting. But you know what else Arjuna saw? Everyone except the Pandavas were going into the mouth of the Viśvarūpa. Everyone was becoming devoured. Just imagine, such a scene Arjuna actually saw. And immediately what did Arjuna say? I cannot take this. I know I asked, but now I withdraw my petition. Now you come back to the original form, because I am too terrified. Before Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna in Krishna Leela, in his childhood times in Vrindavan, this splendor was actually shown to Mother Yashoda. Right? When he ate the sand, she said, open your mouth. He opened his mouth and she saw the entire cosmic manifestation in the mouth and belly of Krishna. What did Mother Yashoda do? Okay, for a while. After that, was she terrified? She said, enough of all this nonsense. Right? You are my son. Correct? Yes. Why I'm bringing up this point? Because devotees align themselves more with the mood of Mother Yashoda. They are never fearful of God. Devotee means one who doesn't fear. But in material life, we are always told to fear. You know where the root comes from? Because we are told to fear God. We're actually not supposed to fear God. We are supposed to love Him. Do we fear our job? Nowadays, yes. Right? But actually we are supposed to love our job. Right? We are. This is exactly what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Krishna is telling Arjuna, everything that you engage in this world, Arjuna, is a manifestation of me. This war is a manifestation of me. Your family is a manifestation of me. Your job is a manifestation of me. Now you'll be scratching your head. No way. Everything is, but my job can't. I can't see God in my job. Right? I see God in everyone. I cannot see God in my child. Too mischievous. Even if I see in my child, God definitely doesn't exist in my spouse. Right? How? All the faults I see. How can God exist in my spouse? Can't exist in my parents, but no. This is the whole Bhagavad Gita. This is the essence. When we engage with everything with love and everyone with love, then we get to see God on a daily basis. You know, there was once the author of this purports to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada. He was speaking Bhagavad Gita and he was speaking about these chapters, and then he made this point that, you know, anyone can see God if you have love. So then one man stood up. He said, I don't believe. Are you seeing God? Right? Can you see God? He said, yes. Then he asked him, are you seeing Him now? Then he said, now I'm not seeing Him. Then he thought he caught him. He said, why aren't you seeing Him now? You know what he told him? Because you are standing in between me and God with your challenging questions. So the point is very simple. When we make things too complicated, God is very simple. If we are simple, we will be able to have His darshan. But because the mind is too complicated, we have a lot of barriers between us and God. So this simplicity was there in Arjuna. He accepted 10% whatever Krishna spoke about. And then Krishna started to speak. And then he started to say, or Arjuna was asking, who are you? What is this? And then how many of you know Oppenheimer? Right? We all know, right? What did he find? Or what did he invent? The nuclear atomic bomb he invented. A nuclear bomb that he invented. Very peaceful thing, right? He invented it for peace. But we know what happened after that. And when they tested this nuclear bomb, and I think it was in Japan, Nagasaki or something, right? Right? Correct, yeah. So Hiroshima, Nagasaki, they tested it. And when the nuclear bomb went off, what is the first thing that he said? Time I am, destroyer of the worlds. Kalo asmi, loka kshayakrit pravriddho, Of course, he didn't know Sanskrit, right? It was the verse from 11th chapter, 32nd verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. When he saw the destruction that the nuclear bomb could effect, and he saw the splendor of the nuclear bomb, he said this, "Time I am, destroyer of the worlds." So even scientists or materialists, when they are shaken to their core, they get a glimpse of something that is beyond us. We should not wait to be shaken. We should not have a nuclear bomb enter our lives before we go to Krishna. As it is, mini nuclear bombs are always there in our lives. But we should not wait for an ultimate nuclear bomb to shake us to the core before we say, "Time I am," right? Destroyer of the worlds. So Arjuna did not want that, but Krishna spoke this, right? We have about 15 minutes, Prabhu?
Half an hour.
Half an hour, okay. So he said, "That time I am." So here, one point that Prabhupada writes, Arjuna saw Krishna's sweet form. When he was terrified, Krishna came into 4-hand form and went into the 2-hand form. He also saw Krishna in this terrifying form, right? So which is Krishna?
It's everything.
Yes, he is both. So in our life also, Arjuna understood, or Prabhupada writes, whether you taste honey or whether you experience a bee sting, right? When you taste honey, it's very nice. But when you experience the same bee which produces the honey, you experience the sting, we feel that it's very bad. But in Krishna, both good and bad is actually represented. If one wants to see God eventually, one must transcend this material concept of good and bad. You know, when we say we have friends, you know what we presuppose? We have enemies. When we say we have an enemy, we presuppose that we also have friends. But spiritualists or devotees, they don't have friends, they also don't have enemies. They are friendly with everyone, but they never take sides. If you find, Krishna took side, but eventually in the grand scheme of things, if you read Krishna's entire pastime from end to end, and if you are observing all his leelas, Krishna never takes side, God will never take sides with anyone. It is simply like, you know, a rock. Sun will shine everywhere. It will shine on barren land also. But if the land is fertile, what will grow? Vegetables, plants. Is it the fault of the sun? Can you say that, oh, the sun was very partial to this tract of land and not that tract of land? The difference is not the sun. The difference is the receptacle. And this time the land. So are we fertile? And if we want to be fertile, we must to some extent transcend this good and bad in our lives. We should stop taking sides. When someone glorifies us, immediately we should not overly feel that, oh, this person is my life. You know, I will expect only glorification from this person. The moment the person is glorifying you, starts vilifying you behind your back, how will you feel? In front of you they say, amazing, you know. Behind us they go and say, yeah, only if I say this you'll be happy. But I know his true character. And when the person who has heard this comes to you and says that, you know, he spoke like this about you, how will you feel? 3 months you will sit at home and think about this. We won't eat, we won't sleep. But anyone who comes to us and asks, we will say, I'm not thinking about him. I forgot him already. But every time we say that, we are thinking about the person more and more and more and more. This is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita saves us from such concepts. It tells us that those who glorify you are not your friends. Those who are inimical to you are not your enemies. They are simply there. Just as how you are there, they are also there. We are friendly with everyone. So this is what Arjuna actually saw. He saw the sweet things. He also saw the bitter things. Bhishma Dev, right? In Bhishma Dev's life, Viśvarūpa never ever experienced sweetness. His whole life was only bitter. Because of his father, he could not get married. Because of his father and mother, he could not become king. And when he became the grandsire, he was preferring the Pandavas because they were devotees. But who he had to fight against? The Pandavas, right? Whose devotee was he? Krishna. Who was he supposed to fight against? Krishna. So at every point, right, Viśvarūpa had only bitterness in his life. But when he passed on, what was the last thing he saw? It was Krishna. And he sings in his last words is enshrined in Bhagavatam. Tam imam mahammajam sharira bhajam hridi hridi dishti tam atmakalpitanam prashiditam iha naikadarkamekam samadhi gatosmi vidutta veda mohaha. He says, my dear Lord, at the end of my life, I have understood one thing, that the sun can be called different names. And the sun may appear differently in different parts of the world. But the sun is one. You see? He says that many things can appear very differently. In my life, I've seen Krishna. Good has happened, bad has happened, everything in between has happened. But I have stayed the course. I have simply kept remembering you. And now because I did that, one thing is, he led a very successful life. Right? Mahabharata tells us that on his best day, no one could stand in front of Bhishma, even Arjuna. If Krishna was not there, Bhishma would have killed Arjuna. That is how powerful he was. Some people say Karna is more, Arjuna is more. No. Bhishma was the most powerful. And how did he attain that? Because whenever bad happened, he did not just simply drop his practice. He did not drop his fighting. He kept moving. Viśvarūpa was a person who kept moving in his life. He never waited for anyone. Pandavas were not with him, he kept moving. He was with the enemy, he kept moving. He was fighting against Krishna, he kept moving. Because he knew Krishna is not sentimental. Krishna wants his devotees to keep moving, keep walking. And in that way, because of that experience, he tells Krishna that many things, many ways you presented yourself in front of me. But now I've realized that you are everywhere, Krishna. And that is why I leave my body very peacefully now. So then in conclusion, Krishna tells Arjuna that now on this battlefield, you see everyone entering my mouth, they have all already been killed. So don't think that, you're so great, you're going to kill them. Well, Krishna didn't say that, right? But he made him feel, after seeing the universal form, that it's already done. You are simply nimitta matra. You are simply my instrument, Arjuna. Everything has been done by me. What do you have to do? 3 things. Now we have to carefully observe these 3 things. You know the flute that Krishna blows? Krishna always keeps the flute with him. Sometimes some people say that you should not keep the flute with Krishna because you blow your life away. I don't know where they get it from. Krishna should always have his flute. But you see the flute, right? The flute is always available to Krishna, right? That's why he has it. So the first point, if we want to be instruments of Krishna, is that we have to be available to Krishna. If anyone tells us, chant Krishna's name, too busy. But God must be seen by me. If anyone wants to tell us to come to a program, satsang like this, I'm not available. If anyone tells us to pray, I'm not available. If anyone tells us to do some service, I'm not available. First thing, if we want to be instruments of God, we need to be available. The flute is always available to Krishna. Second, it is tuned. The flute, the way they, burrow the holes, it is actually a great science. The flute is tuned. We have to be tuned to Krishna. In your house, if you're not tuned to the same frequency as your spouse, the house becomes a living hell. Actually, it's all about tuning only. When there's no frequency alignment, when there's no tuning, there is chaos. You see? So if we want to detect the frequency of God, we have to tune ourselves to it. And what is this tuning? There's only one quality to tune ourselves to this. That is the quality of humility. If we are humble, if we don't let our designations get to our head, we are very much tuned to God. And the third thing, what did we discuss now? We have to be available and we have to be tuned. And the third thing is that we have to be hollow. Hollow means not feel empty. Hollow means we cannot put so many things in our mind and then challenge. You know, it's there in the Bible also, right? Empty yourself. That's what Christ says. So this is the flute. If we want to take darshan of Krishna, if we want to be spiritualists, be available, be tuned, and be hollow. Be empty in the sense that you can actually receive God. So in this way, he becomes an instrument. When Krishna says his time, he becomes an instrument and he surrenders to Krishna. And then in the last verse of the 11th chapter, Krishna says that now you've seen everything, how to practice, how to follow through. He gives him a few things. One, work for me. Whatever you do, whatever relationship you have, you do it with love. Do it for me, you will be able to see me everywhere. Second thing, hold me as the supreme goal. You can have sub-goals, but the ultimate goal will be me. This is very powerful. And he says, be my devotee, mad bhaktaha, and be free from attachment. What we spoke about. Don't be attached to those who are nice to you. Don't be detached from those who are inimical to you. There's no detachment, there is no attachment. And the last thing he says, don't have enmity with anyone. You may feel this is a very random thing, but this is the last point Krishna makes in 11:55 of the Gita. He says that if you really want to truly know me, don't be too close to anyone and don't be an enemy with anyone. Raga, Dvesha, Vimukta istu. Be in the middle. Because Krishna always walks the middle line. That's why he's very difficult to see. Because either we hate someone or we will love someone very much. We can never see the middle path. And that's where God actually is. So this is the 11th chapter. So we have 5 more minutes. This 5 minutes I want to spend describing the glories of the month that we are currently in. Right? This month is known as the month of Purushottam, right? Purushottam Mass. Purushottam Mass is actually what you would call a rejected month. We follow 2 calendars, right? There's a lunar, and there's a solar calendar, right? And when the lunar and solar calendars run, you will find that at some point between 30 to 35 months, one of the months will start going tangent. That means they will not be in sync. So what happens is, our very intelligent sages, our scientists, what they do is, they insert a 13th month every 30 to 35 months so that the lunar and solar calendars are always in line. And every month is accepted by a great personality. They will look after the month and they will take care of everything that happens in the month. But this 13th month is known as Adik Mas. Adik means extra, too much, right? Anything that is too much or extra in our life, what do? We will discard it. So everyone discarded it. I will never touch this. It's too inauspicious. So as always, who came for that month? Krishna. You know what is the qualification to be accepted by Krishna? To know that we are rejected. It is not that we must become capable to be accepted by Krishna. If we know that we are very fallen, Krishna will come for us. If we tell Krishna, I'm too competent, Krishna will say, then you just remain competent. Right? So this month was rejected. So Krishna came for the month. And because of this month is so auspicious. You know the month of Kartik? In the month of Kartik, any time you chant Krishna's name, you get 1,000 times benefit that you would chant in a normal day. If you chant Krishna's name in Purushottam, you get 1,000 times benefit of what you get in Kartik. Can someone do the math? 1,000 times 1,000 is what? Huh? 100,000 million? Okay, I leave the math to you, right? But that's how much of benefit that we get. But this month is considered to be inauspicious for the materialists. If you go to Perumal temple, you will find that the hall will be empty. You know the PGP hall, where they do the weddings? This month is empty. Because materialists will find that this Purushottam month is very inauspicious. For spiritualists, they will find very good. So you will not invite me for any wedding. You will not invite me for any birthday. I don't have to give you any hong pao, right? Money. I also don't have to waste my time. What do I do then? I sit at home and focus on myself. And when we say I focus on myself, I become more intense in my spiritual life. That is Purushottam month. Very practical. We reduce our material needs and wants. We increase our spiritual fervor. And in this month, and I'll conclude with this, there is a verse that we all have to follow. Nanyam vadami, na shrunomi na chintayami, nanyam bhajami, no, nanyam smarami, na bhajami na cha ashrayami, Krishna tvadiya charanambujamantarena, Shri Shri Nivasa Purushottama, Dehi Dasyam. See the word Purushottama? So when you want to attain Purushottam, or the goal of this month, we have to do 6 things. The first 2 lines. Nanyam vadami. I will not speak anything. Now you may wonder, this is too much. I can't do this. Nanyam vadami, I won't speak anything means, I will not speak nonsense. And what is nonsense classified as? That which doesn't benefit you and that which doesn't benefit another person. And mostly, this is considered to be bazaar talk, gossip, prajalpa. When 2 men come together or 2 ladies come together, they speak about the third person. So this month, we do not do that. If the urge comes to criticize or to blaspheme someone, we just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You know why devotees chant this mantra? Some people will think that, oh, because you are Krishna devotees, you are Hindus. You know why we chant this? Because when we chant this, we don't get the time to speak nonsense. That's all. It's not a sentimental exercise. It's a very practical exercise. Some of us chant 16 rounds. It takes us 2 to 2.5 hours every morning. You know what that means? Every morning for 2.5 hours, we don't speak nonsense. At least 2.5 hours, because the rest of the day is going to go like that only. But at least for the 2.5 hours, we stop speaking frivolously. The names of Krishna will align your speech. Nanyam vadami. This one, we don't do that. Nashrunomi. We don't hear nonsense. So if anyone were to call you this one and say, yesterday you came for the function? Yeah, he was there, no? When they're going to start, you just tell them, wait. You call me next month. This month, I cannot hear this. Next month you call me, I will hear you very freely. But I'll tell you one thing. Next month when they call, you'll tell them, you don't ever call me. Because I'll tell you one thing. The less we speak frivolously, the less you hear gossip, you will start becoming addicted to that kind of living. You become so peaceful, you won't want to live that life. You want to avoid drama, and you always want to be with Krishna. Nashrunomi na chintayami. I will not think of anything else but you, Krishna. And na smarami. I will not remember my traumatic past. And I will not imagine my future. I will simply be present and I will remember you. Na smarami, na bhajami. I will not worship anyone. I will not speak highly of an actor. I will not speak highly of a cricket player. I will not speak highly of a politician. right? We like to worship, all these personalities, but we don't worship God. This one, we won't worship anyone. We won't glorify anyone. We only glorify Krishna. And the last point, he says, I will not take shelter of anyone. I will only take shelter of you. Now you may think, I don't take shelter of anyone. I am my own shelter. But you know how many shelters we take? When we are born, who do we take shelter of? Parents. You all look puzzled. You all didn't take shelter of parents? You took shelter of the doctor. When you went to school, who did you take shelter of? The teachers, right? Then when you went to work, who did you take shelter of? The boss, and your boss takes shelter of you. Right? When you get married, we take shelter of our spouse. Usually the males will think that my wife is taking shelter of me. You really think it's actually the men who take shelter of the woman. If there is no feminine energy in the house is finished. Every man takes shelter of the feminine energy in the house. It is a fact that cannot be denied. But this month, we don't take anyone's shelter. Then to have all this, studies, work, what do? We take shelter of a house. And to transport ourselves, we take shelter of the car. And in Singapore, if you want to have all this, what do you need? What do you need? Sorry? Yes, you all sounded very doubtful. Anyone got it free, please? I'll come look for you after this. We need money. And to have that money, who do we take shelter of? Good. Or who do we take shelter of? Job? If you have job, you'll have all the money. How many of you, raise your hands, bought your house cash in Singapore? They told you it's 2 million, you just paid it. When you had a car, they told you it's 150,000, you paid it cash. How many of you did that? So to buy, who did you take shelter of?
Banks.
The bank. This is Bhagavad Gita. We take loans. These are all our various shelter. Please, if you have loan, don't freak out, right? But you get the gist of it. And one thing I always tell people, right, if your loan is coming towards the end, use this month to pay it off. Very auspicious. It's very good, right? So many shelters we take. But this verse tells us for this month, we only take shelter of Srinivasa Purushottama. This month is dedicated for that. And when you do this, Prabhus and Matajis, you will find that you will become peaceful, you will become calm, and technically speaking, you'll become very successful. And you just have to replicate the actions of this month. You have to project it to the months in the future. So this month is an enabling month. How many of us want to take advantage of this month? Yes. And what's the first thing that we have to do? Yes. Very nice, Prabhu. I said so many things, but Prabhu brought up the essence. If you can't do anything, just avoid gossip. You don't speak gossip, you don't hear gossip. I'll give you a third tip. In this month, whenever they have these programs, you make sure you attend it. That's the key. Because sometimes we come up with grand plans, but the simple things, we may miss it. So as what Prabhu said, we don't speak Prajalpa, we don't hear Prajalpa, we chant Krishna's names. And we come for programs like this. In that way, we are very much benefited. So thank you very much for patiently hearing Hare Krishna. It's 8:55. Is it okay, Prabhu? The timing?
Yeah. Okay. So anyone has any questions?
Yes, please.
My job, so much problem with getting cross also with all of this thing. Then I started, Prabhu said, this is Purushottam month, please don't. But I'm stopped.
Yeah.
Today also I'll start only. Prabhu said, this is month of what? You don't say anything. Then I stop.
Yes.
Stop. But very good. I can feel it. It's not gossiping, not anything.
Yes.
Very peaceful.
Yes.
Whole day peaceful. But this one going on. Boss is all is going on. but we have to.
Yeah.
But chanting is more important than anything. I have some promises to, I drowned so many wrongs, but it's very good. Every time you not do anything, phone and all, but you have to chant, it's very powerful.
Very nice. Thank you. She brought up a good point at the end. Huh? Put down the phone. Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Anyone has anything to share? Any questions?
Everything is in moment now.
Yes.
So what is that good about the month? Just not to do it, because the moment is the one which will devote everything. Right?
Yes.
We live in a moment. We pour everything in that moment.
Yes.
So why then we have to wait for the entire month?
Yes.
If the moment is the essence.
Excellent question. Actually, I forgot to cover that point, but Prabhu has brought up this question. You know, this question was asked to Srila Prabhupada. That the question Prabhu is asking is, why wait for this month? If we have to live in the moment, why wait? Excellent question. The answer is in the question, because I think he already understood the essence of it. Prabhupada was asked this question. Why people emphasize so much on the month of Kartik? Why only we need to chant? So he said that if you have really understood the meaning of life, then you don't have to practice Kartik. You don't have to practice Purushottam month. Because you will find when you go to a temple and you see the devotees there, when they wake up, they are chanting. Right? Then they go to work, they come back, they continue chanting. They continue reading Bhagavad Gita, they do Arati in the evening. Before they sleep, they read Krishna book. Right? They are always remembering. For devotees like them, there is no Purushottam month, there is no Kartik. Because, as Prabhu nicely said, they are living that life when? Now. That is why I'm saying, that is why I did not tell you that this month, then next month you just let go of everything. It has to project. In our culture, there's always festivals, Festivals are not just meant for celebration. They are actually pivots. That means to focus on what is important, so that you project further. These are reminders, Festivals are reminders. These months are reminders for us. So Prabhu is absolutely right. This month should remind us very intensely how to live in the moment with chanting. How to live in the moment without hearing bad and speaking bad. That's it, Prabhu. You're absolutely right. But this month is a reminder. So if we can't do it any other month, let us start. Because what we do is, we make a plan for a plan. We will plan, how to plan, then we will do it. So this month, what happens is you just do it now. And the future we will see. That's the point. Is that okay?
Because the moment is the only position.
Yes, absolutely.
Future, we don't have the position.
We don't have to.
Past is already gone. So
It's
the
gone.
moment that we have.
Yes. So this month we have to take that moment. Because we have left so many moments aside. So this month reminds us is, capture the moment. And do what is right. Is that okay? Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Shall we conclude with a bit of Kirtan? Prabhu, you have anything?
If you can
Yes,
recite
yes.
Charashtakam.
Sorry?
You can recite Charashtakam.
As in, you mean,
Charashtakam. Charashtakam.
okay, I'm not very familiar with it. We'll chant Hare Krishna.
Hare-
Is it okay? Okay. Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gora Hari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय भगवान की जय, श्री गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
His Grace Madan Mohan Prabhu ki.
जय श्री प्रभुपाद की